What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to episode number 39 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one, and as always, make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, the 2022 F1 season is up to full song now. We're 3 rounds in and we head to Imola today for round 4. Of course, a number of upgrades coming in for this episode. We'll make a few more if we can across the board here. Have a look. We've got 3.7k resource points to spend. So have a look around here. Is there anything we can do this early on? One durability upgrade. That's all we can do for the minute. It's a major one on the gearbox. So our gearbox is actually running out at this point. So we'll leave each power unit apart for one more race thing at this point. Everything looks all okay, no sign of any red for now, so we'll keep an eye on it over the course of the race weekend, because of course we have got a sprint race today as well. Verstappen leads the standings by 1 point to Sainz and 2 points to us. It's very close between the top 3 right now, and of course Red Bull lead Ferrari and Mercedes after Hamilton's retirement last time out in Australia. Still no rival on the board just yet, but I imagine we should get a notice about that over the course of the waits between this Grand Prix and the next one. So pushing on now, all 5 of our upgrades coming through nice and easy there. Marketing department, this could be it in terms of our first rivalry of this season. Let's have a look at the event. One of the 2 Red Bull drivers, so Max Verstappen or Sergio Perez. Not easy choice here, given how good those 2 have been in the first 2 races. But you know what? We haven't gone from yet. We're going to go for the big white whale, Max Verstappen himself. We're going to take him on. He's our new rival, our first of the season. Of course, we've won 3 of the 4 rivalries we've done so far in this series. The only we've lost out to was Lewis Hamilton at the end of last season. Of course, he went on a tear and won 4 of the 5 or 6 races that we had during the rivalry. So Verstappen is our rival now for the first time in the series. Hopefully not the last. That rivalry could be career defining come the end of the series. But more time upgrades now. Air upgrade on the board. Major one on the rear downforce on the rear wing. And we'll have a look now across the board to see what we can put in. Looking at chassis here, minor upgrade on the tyre wear. I think we've got space for no more space anymore. But one on each department now. And we're starting to close that gap to Red Bull and Ferrari as of right now. You see that gap starting to close a little bit. Those 2 a bit more stagnant with upgrades for Red Bull. Now the fastest car once again over Ferrari. Of course, back to their perch at the end of last season. So upgrade for durability coming through here. Sorry, that's powertrain upgrade coming through. Nice and easy. So that's all sorted there. And I think there's not really much more to do. We'll see. Have one more look here to see if we can make any more upgrades going into the Grand Prix weekend. We'll go for one more in the chassis department. Now get 2 chassis upgrades, both minor on the board, the major durability one and the major aero one as well. So all in all, fruitful time spent between the last race and this one. It's time now to jump into the race weekend, our first sprint weekend of the series. So behind the wheel then once again of our W13 as we get set for qualifying for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Now of course this being the first sprint weekend of the series and the season, of course a crucial part being here that the fact that we will be qualifying for our starting position in the sprint, and as a result of that our finishing position in the sprint will then determine our placing for the Grand Prix ahead. Of course top 8 score points in the sprint going down from 8 to 1, so at this rate, we can actually potentially close on both Sainz and Verstappen, perhaps take the lead going out into the Grand Prix itself. So make our way through onto our first qualifying lap, then out of turn 18 and towards the sort of little rat hand that is turn 19 to cap off the lap. Going down towards turn 1, the Tamburello chicane, of course, as we said in last season's race, did used to be a long sweeping left-hander, but obviously was remodified in the late 1990s. Going down towards turn 1 here, keeping things under control, keeping things nice and smooth, opening 2 corners. Of course, cold tyres could be a problem over the course of this lap, especially in the first sector, so we'll keep an eye out. That's go down into the Villeneuve chicane now at turns 5 and 6, and up towards Tosa, the left-hander, that is turn 7. Coming towards the first split then, it's a 24.9 to kick off the lap. Of course, we'll use this as our banker, as always, to make our way towards turns 17, 18, and 19 once more. So another first on the board there, 1 minute 18.1 to kick things off. Hopefully should go faster than the AlphaTauri. We've got a car behind us. I think that's one, sorry, it's in front of us. It's Ferrari, their signs. 117.1 towards the line, 117.7 for us. So work to do them. A half second off of the champion, or the former championship leader Carlos Sainz, who of course is one of the 3 race winners this season, and we accelerate time down to P9 now in the order. So I mean, it's the same sort of pace we're on compared to the last 3 races, but it's just a lot closer now, and all of a sudden everyone is bunched up together. Alonso, Norris, Ocon all faster than us. Ricciardo there in P10 behind us. So we'll push on to our last qualifying lap here. Fresh set of soft tyres going on for the end of this run, and the sun has passed the clouds now. It was overcast. It's now quite dry and quite sunny. We'll come to the last couple of corners here. Only a 10th up at this point, so not a lot of improvement. It's going to be a bit more of an ask now in terms of the sprint to get us up the order. As we emerge from the final real corner of the circuit, a bit of slide there out of turn 18 as you run towards the line, going to improve by just under 2/10. That puts up to 8th place. So not a fantastic qualifying, but luckily we've got the sprint in there. We're inside the points paying places. So hopefully we'll try and make that one up in the sprint and going into the Grand Prix.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Perez, Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So Perez will lead the run to the first corner then in the sprint race. Hamilton lines up second, so our teammate on the front row, and Leclerc in third place there. Then it's Sainz, Verstappen, Norris, Alonso, and then us in P8. So those are starting 8 in terms of points paying places. We've got some work to do to try and catch up to our 2 title rivals in the sprint race before going into the Grand Prix. Let's do this. First sprint race of the season.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Max Verstappen, and Norris. Fernando Alonso, Cohen, Ocon, and Daniel Ricciardo. Gasly, Albon, Guan Yu Zhou, and Magnussen. Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Valtteri Bottas, and Lance Stroll. Vettel and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
So here we go then, no more talking, time for action for the first sprint race of F1 Ultimate Career from P8 on the grid. Strategy, nothing to think about today, no pit stops, just one set of medium tyres, those carry us right the way through to the checker flag. Let's get on to the formation lap.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint.
So here we go then, going down towards turn 1, Perez leads the way, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz and Verstappen your top 5, everyone on the mediums, no change in terms of tyre strategy going into this one, so everyone should be on the same tyres from lights to flag.
We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
It is imperative in this sprint race that we catch up to, at the very least, catch up to Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, because the last thing we want to do is try and lose any more points in what was already a gut-wrenchingly close title race as it stands just 3 rounds into this thing. Of course, the big points come in the Grand Prix, but if we can try and minimise any potential damage done by perhaps a mechanical DNF, of course we run the risk of in the Grand Prix, that'd be great. And we line up here behind an Alpine, in front of an Alpine too, Alonso and Ocon in their sandwich there, going down towards Tamburello as the last 2 cars take their spots here on the starting grid. It is Perez and Hamilton on the front row to get the first sprint race in F1 Ultimate Career underway. Here come the lights for 11 laps of racing here at Imola. Lights out, foot to the floor, and we are racing. Going down towards that first corner. Ocon with a good start on the left-hand side, going towards turn 1. The 2 Alpines going side by side in front of us. Ricciardo looking to challenge for P9. Further back here, out of the points already going towards this first corner. On the inside, trying to make this work, trying to get around Alonso or Ocon, one of the 2 here. They're both side by side, keeping us in gridlock as go through the first couple of corners. Ricciardo trying the outside, won't quite do it. Norris being challenged by Alonso, go down towards turn 5 here. We're stuck in place right now. Let's try and dive to the inside of Ocon, going towards turn 7 Tosa to complete the first sector of this race. Down the inside of the Alpine, going towards the left hand here on the inside, the preferred driving line going through. The slide there on corner exit. Ocon might get us back. It's still side by side to make our way down towards, or up the hill towards turn number 8 and then towards 9. Ocon is still there on our outside. Going to try and outbrake him here. Have the inside line going in and taking the place away at P8 once again. A bit of slide out of turn number 9 there, but all the way we get all being sorted. We get away and let's get back to working, chasing down Alonso. On to the end of lap number 2 now. And we are right on the tail of the Spaniard going down the main straight to complete our second lap. Perez in the lead there. 1 minute 18.9 is fastest lap. DRS is in play for the first time. Won't come into effect until we come back down the main straight at the end of this lap. But on the outside of Alonso here, going to try and go to the inside if we can, going towards that first corner, looking to the inside of the other Alpine. The Spaniard now being dispatched as we go through turns 1 and 2, keeping it under control and maintaining our place on the racetrack and taking P7 away. So upper place now in this sprint race. We've got work to do to try and close up to Norris in P5. On to lap 5 then, a couple of laps later. It took us a fair bit of time. We managed to close up to the back of our compatriot in the McLaren as he comes to the last couple of corners on the circuit here. DRS will be in our favour once again, but Norris will get it from the cars in front, so we only just get it off the signs. Verstappen is there in 3rd place right now, so we really need Lewis to get back around Max in order to try and lose the chance of us losing too many points in this sprint race. Go down towards turn 1 again. Can't close on Norris right now. Have to keep an eye on him here. And if he doesn't get DRS off the signs in a lap or two's time, we could try and take advantage of that. They make our way through turns 1, 2, and 3 again. On to the end lap number 7 now, going down towards the chicane at turn 14. Yellow flag behind us. Not quite sure what's going on. Looks like Ocon's got a problem here. One of the Alpines has got some kind of issue. Alonso's still going just fine, so it's got to be Ocon. He's makes his way through. He's fallen away from that pack, and looks like his race is over here. We'll get the matches through. I imagine in a matter of moments here, as we make our way through turns 17 and 18, closing on Norris. Ocon is out of the race today, our first retiree of the race weekend, but Norris is still our main focus here. DRS in play, once again going down towards turn 1. A few laps left to go in this thing, and we're running out of time to try and close on our two title rivals, Sainz and Verstappen, in front of us right now. Verstappen's still in 3rd place, Lewis 4th, Sainz is in 5th, and we're fighting Lando for 6th place here on the outside going towards turn 1. Lando locks up, a lot of tyre smack there. He runs deep, makes contact with us going through the first corner. Lucky to avoid any sort of major damage, but we're away now and up into 6th place and trying to pull away from Lando as much as we can. But what happened to Esteban Ocon then to put him out of the sprint race so early on, especially with the long race weekend still ahead of us with the Grand Prix to come in this video? Ocon is out of it though. What's actually happened to him? And no sign of smoke or anything. He makes his way through. But you see that little wobble there, and of course he retired in the Grand Prix in Australia. He's going to retire again in the sprint here, and this hopefully won't bode a sign for things to come for Ocon, who pulls the car wide on corner exit at turn 15, brings it back onto the track, and then pulls it over and going down towards turn 16. So his race is over then. Esteban Ocon is out. And unfortunately for us, there wasn't really much more going on in this Grand Prix. Aside from keeping Norris at bay, which we did do, Leclerc's coming through. He's managed to pull a gap to Perez here in the closing stages as he comes through on the last lap. Only a few more corners left to come, and hopefully this will be a good sign for him and Ferrari in the Grand Prix tomorrow. Hopefully not for Sainz, but hopefully for Leclerc, who was always a popular figure in Italy. He runs the line and wins the sprint race here in Imola. F1's first sprint winner in Ultimate career. Perez 2nd, Hamilton in 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Sainz 5th, and Will runs the line in 6th place. Solid stuff. Managed to take up some, gain some places and avoid losing too many points to Verstappen and to Sainz, but a lot of work to be done in the Grand Prix in order to hunt those two downs and potentially trying to merge with the lead in the Drivers' Championship at the end of what should be a great Grand Prix.
Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Let's move on to the constructors. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So Leclerc then from Perez and Hamilton. Verstappen finishes 4th, Sainz 5th in the end. We finished 6th, Norris 7th, and Alonso 8th. And it's Ricciardo and Tsunoda who round out the top 10. But of course, Ricciardo and Tsunoda won't score points. Only the top 8 will get them. There's 3 points for our efforts here, but Verstappen will open that lead up by just a little bit more to myself and to Sainz. So I look at the standings here. Verstappen now leads Sainz by 2 and us by 4. But it's close enough to the point where we could still emerge from the Grand Prix as the championship leader if things work out our way. Perez in 4th there, Leclerc in 5th, and Red Bull obviously opened the gap from the Constructors' Championship a little bit. Ferrari might have closed that gap slightly. If we've closed the gap, I think we've actually probably lost time in that gap. But we'll continue pressing on here. Decent sprint race, and it's time now to jump into the Grand Prix.
Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. The clue's in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsport. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. One lap of Imola, anti-clockwise of course, unlike most Formula One circuits, will take our drivers round 3.1 miles of track. 19 turns, 9 right-handers and 10 to the left. Drivers will need to be precise at the hairpin at turn 7, given the subsequent uphill section. Without a good exit from that corner, they'll lose a lot of time on that stretch. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, Cohen, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Albon, and Kevin Magnussen. Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Valtteri Bottas, and Stroll. Norris, they've taken a grid penalty. Fernando Alonso, Guan Yu Zhou, and Sebastian Vettel. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching out for as they head into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
So here we go then, time for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix from P6 on the starting grid and looking to try and emerge from this race as championship leader in the driver's standings. There's your strategy then, one stop on the board, medium tyres, onto a set of hards, going to the end of the Grand Prix, same as always, you guys know the drill by now. And like I say, I'm waiting for the opportunity to run a two-stop or something in this in these races, or at least try and run a set of soft tyres. But we'll turn down the fuel a bit more here to see if we can try and gain any more time by carrying less load. It's time now to get into the Grand Prix.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
That is the question indeed then. In terms of outliers and tyres, only the Williams car starting on the hards and going perhaps to a set of mediums at the end of the Grand Prix. But it's mediums to hards for everyone else, I should imagine. Of course, Verstappen and Sainz ran alternate strategies last time out. It paid off for them, not today. But crucially, we want to try and just make sure this car gets to the end of the race and crucially in front of Verstappen and Sainz. Because obviously, we've got quite a few parts going yellow now on the power units. That could be a concern going into this Grand Prix. Have to keep an eye out there. As the last few cars taking their places on the grid, Latifi and obviously Ocon after retiring from the sprint starts last. Here come the lights though for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Time to get the real Grand Prix underway. Time to bring the action. The lights are on. Lights out, foot to the floor. We are racing here down towards turn 1 for the first time in this race. Ricciardo with a good start on the left-hand side going towards that first corner side by side with the Honey Badger. Will Paul clear in the McLaren going towards turn 1. They're going to try and make a move back to the outside if we can into that first corner. Warning for a collision with them very early on. Sainz being cut off by Ricciardo. Their Sainz running deep and losing in places as well. So Ricciardo then gains 2 places, myself and Sainz both losing one at his expense as we make our way through turns 5 and 6 for the first time into the Villeneuve chicane, keeping the car under control, trying to avoid going wide with the gravel trap on corner exit. Let's try and make a move on Sainz sooner rather than later to avoid losing touch with the 4 leaders there in front, the top 4 as it stands, going through up towards turn 8. Pushing on now out of Minerali of turn 13 and down towards 14 now, towards the chicane, down the inside of Sainz, going into the right hand and obviously into the immediate left. Giving Sainz room here, goes over the curve, falls away, and we'll take that place away nice and easy. P6 back into our starting spot. Obviously, Ricciardo in front now, so we've got some work to do to try and hunt him down over the next lap and a half or so to make our way through.
As things stand, we'll be third in the championship.
Still third in the standings, of course, because there'll still be tied with Sainz and Verstappen will still be in the lead here. So on to lap number 2 now and going towards turn 1 once again on lap 3. DRS not yet in play. One more lap before we get used to that for the first time. And going down towards Tamburello here, looking for a move on Ricciardo to the inside first, then the outside, then back to the inside again. Back, forth, back, forth. Can we make a move stick going towards turn 1 here? Down the inside, yes we can. And unlike his teammate, Ricciardo keeps the car under wraps, doesn't lock the car up. So up to P5 now, we'll start getting to work and chasing down our teammate Lewis Hamilton, who's making way down towards Villeneuve once again here. And Hamilton about 2 seconds up the road by now. Verstappen in P3, and it's Perez leading from Leclerc second.
As things stand, we'll be third in the championship.
And I think the championship standings thing is broken on the radio because we'd definitely be in front of Sainz by this point. We're 2 places up on him. Pushing on now to lap 4.
A gap on the car behind by around a second a lap. Okay, information on Verstappen. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
And yes, for the second race in a row, Verstappen has some kind of problem now. Crucially, it hit him in Australia late on with about a 10-second lead, but not this time. This time there's nowhere to hide for the Dutchman. Down the inside, going towards turn 14. Bit of contact with his back right tyre. Verstappen goes over the curb. We take full advantage, take P4 away, and we're 1 place off the podium now, and crucially in front of both of our 2 title opponents at this point. So we could potentially be looking at a championship lead. We've been trying to take 1 more place here. Verstappen drops back behind Ricciardo. You never really know. Anything could still happen in this Grand Prix. There's a long way left to go in this thing. So off the last corner and going down towards turn 1. Although crucially, something felt a bit weird as we were passing Verstappen.
It's the gearbox issue, but I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. Try and drive around it. We'll just have to hope for the best. Remember, you've got a lot of torque in these power units, so you should be able to stay in high gears for a lot of the lap.
So we've got a gearbox problem of some kind then. Verstappen closing back in on us going towards turn 1. I'm not actually sure what gear we may have lost or what gear has the problem. So we'll keep on going here as we are. The high gears all seem okay right now as we continue to push on towards turns 5 and 6 once more. Verstappen right on our tail and Sainz passing Ricciardo for 6th place behind us a few seconds back. He'll start closing as we make our way up towards turn 7 here. We'll see what happens when we go through the lower gears. It's second gear we've lost, and that can be a big one in corners such as this one, such as turn number 7. It's pushed onto lap 7 now and keeping on in control. We managed to keep things under control for the most part, and by the time we come through a couple of laps later, the problem has been fixed, so we're all okay for the minute, but obviously we have to keep our eye out for any more missing gears over the course of this Grand Prix. Hopefully we won't lose too many, won't impact our race anymore. So on to lap 14 then, a couple of laps later, making our way into the pit lane for our first and only stop of the Grand Prix. We're largely unchallenged for the majority of that first stint once the gearbox was fixed. So into the pit lane now, our first stop onto the set of hards. Verstappen coming into the pits behind us, Sainz staying out for another lap, Leclerc coming in terms of 2 Ferraris. So imagine Sainz will stop next time, we'll see if we can come back out in front of him, but crucially, I fear we may end up getting caught behind one of the cars, getting caught in traffic as they make our way out the pit lane on lap 15, and Albon goes out there in front because he's on the hard tyres, and Vettel coming out too, he's still on his mediums, so we could potentially get stuck behind him in the same way we were last season in the late stage of the Grand Prix. Vettel is still keeping us company as he comes through turn 18 now. Sainz is on his way at the pit exit, he's made his stop onto his set hard tyres, and it's already going down towards turn 1, because you should see us emerge here into the moment. Sainz is coming out the pit exit now, there's Albon, the car in front of us, there we go, Vettel stopped now, I'm going to narrowly come back out in front of Sainz, but we've lost time as a result there of being stuck behind Vettel, so work to do now is try and keep Sainz at bay over the majority of this Grand Prix, but I feel like we are as fast, if not faster, than that Ferrari at least, because Leclerc is pulling away as it stands, but Albon is our next target as of right now to push further onto lap 16. Yellow flag here, going down towards Mick Schumacher, who's out of the Grand Prix, just going towards turn 1. What's happened to Mick here on pit exit? I think he's just leaving the pit lane. Have a look at the replay of actually what's happened to Schumacher. You can see the 2 cars coming in. I hope this was some massive collision going towards turn 1. Okay, he just resets the track, and apparently that's game over for him. So Schumacher got some kind of problem there from that, and there was no contact made. It just came very close to it. I think potentially might be a touch, but he is out now. So we'll push on to the end of number 16 now. Albon staying out for another lap on those hard tyres, and crucially, we managed to pull away from Sainz to the point where we're out of DRS range. So the fastest lap to boot as well, 1:19.9, going towards Tamburello here. Now, crucially, we can get in front of Albon with DRS and clear him before turn 1 if we can, which we will do just about. Of course, clearing the Williams driver. Of course, the driver, of course, we nabbed the seat off of Red Bulls. It's over a year ago at this point. Albon is now there, being hopefully serving as a barricade to Carlos Sainz, and won't let him go here. So Albon defends the inside going towards turn 5. Blue flags not in effect, because obviously Albon is not a lapped car, so he can fight Sainz if he wants to, despite perhaps being a detriment to Albon's Grand Prix. But coming out of turn 7 now, we'll try and use Albon as a barrier here, try and keep Sainz at bay. We couldn't get a few seconds out of this, but on to lap 23, Verstappen is back in the game. That issue early in the race has been fixed, and he is now right on our tail here, and Sainz has been dispatched by him too, so the Dutchman is back on the chase here, and looking to try and maintain his championship advantage as he goes down into turn number 14 here, keeping the car under control. He's making off of turn 15 and going down towards 16 now. Verstappen right on our tail, will not let us breathe. We've got a lot of fuel we've lost there, and honestly, I haven't paid attention to the fuel at all in this Grand Prix. Didn't even clock the red light when it came on and it was about 6 laps ago when I checked this. It came on about lap 18 or so, and we're now almost half a lap below target, so we have to do some serious fuel saving, and that might mean that Cruz should be able to give up these 2 places in order to ensure we actually make the end of the race and still score a few points at least. So Verstappen goes charging through their blast pass on the right hand side going towards turn 1, and I imagine Sainz will follow suit back about a lap or 2 as you go into the first corner. Verstappen then is back up to P4 where he was prior to his issue. Can't fight for the podium, I imagine P4 from at best in this race, but Sainz is right behind us and will likely take some points away too. On to lap 24 now, 25. Sainz gets through on the left hand side going towards that first corner. 7 laps left, so we'll run out of about half a lap to go at this point. On to lap 27 here, still trying to save fuel, but really not, we're struggling at. Fuel saving is perhaps one of the weakest skills in my arsenal, but as a result, Ricciardo and Norris are closing fast. What's going on? Why are we stuck in 4th gear? The gearbox has sort of come back. That problem has really taken again as you go down towards turn 1. Big problems here. Oh, really, Mark? No way! This almost didn't notice us staying stuck in 4th and 5th, going towards turn 1. Ricciardo and Norris will be jumping for joy in the cockpits, seeing this Mercedes struggling in front of them. On lap 28 now, those 2 coming blasting past. We were a good 10 seconds in front of them when Verstappen and Sainz made their passes. We were losing time as it was, saving fuel, and now this problem could be a massive detriment to us later on this Grand Prix. Their gearbox finally giving up. We'll hold them off for now, but on corner exit, it's a horrible shrill noise in the cockpit, and you got a sense of it briefly coming out of the last corners a couple of laps ago, but there goes Norris and Ricciardo, both of them blasting past. That puts us down to 8th place then, and Alonso and Gasly are closing in, and we're running out of fuel as well. This could be a horrible end to this Grand Prix. We're trying to maintain any last scraps of points we have left, and we're going to be losing out big time to Sainz and Verstappen, and potentially even Leclerc, Perez and Hamilton too, given they're up there in the top 3 right now. Alonso on our tail, he's come through to start the last lap, but still about 4/10 of the lap down on fuel here as he come through to start the bell lap here at Imola and trying to keep Alonso at bay as best we can. Gas is about 5 seconds behind, likely he'll catch us, and Ocon is on his tail too. Ocon's come roaring back in this race. Alonso trying to go the outside down towards Tim. We're going to shut the door on him, and we've got to try and beat a train here, be a blockade as Albon was to Sainz earlier for about a lap or so. It's pushing on now. Leclerc is coming through. He's had an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix, kept things all to himself as he rounds turn 18 for the last time he won the sprint. He's going to be the first driver to take a full sweep of a sprint and a Grand Prix. Leclerc comes through and wins in Ferrari country, wins at Imola. Perez will finish in second, and Lewis Hamilton will at least give some Mercedes representation on the podium with a third place finish. Verstappen will come in fourth, Sainz fifth, Norris sixth, Ricciardo seventh. We're fighting for 8th place, and there it is, low fuel mode. That is not just under half a lap to go, it can't be. Alonso, though, is still right on our tail. We're causing yellow flags here, and the best we can do now is just try and hope that AI doesn't try and go for a move going down towards these last couple of corners, but it's a long time to try and keep Alonso at bay. If he managed to actually do this, I'd be very surprised. Gasly and Ocon closing in at a rate of not seriously charged towards turn 14 and 15 for the last time. I'll say charge, it's more of a trundle at this point, coming out the left-hander and keeping our car under control. Alonso trying it, going to pull to the left first, then the right, and goes to the outside, goes dancing on through. Ocon goes following through as well. Ocon, after starting dead last in this race, will fight back and claim some points in the Grand Prix. Fair play to him. Gasly goes to the inside, and that is more or less game over for us. We're down to P11 now, out of the points paying places, and unfortunately we've lost a lot more points as a result of the fuel crisis, obviously, and the gearbox has cost us massively. And here comes Joe and Albon behind us. Our worst finish in terms of crossing the line is P12 to my memory in Ultimate Career. Here comes Joe towards the line, was going to catch us at the flag. He gets us on the outside. Albon doesn't though. P12 at the flag. That's a horrible, horrible end to a Grand Prix. I don't think I've ever seen a more pitiful finish to a race of ours in my life. That was very, very painful to endure. And I hope we never have another Grand Prix that ends like that. That was very painful, and hopefully we can try and bounce back in the next race, try and get some more points back on the board.
They take the checkered flag then here in Imola in what has been another outstanding Grand Prix. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So Leclerc then takes a big win here at Imola, and that helped him potentially try and boost himself into title contention. Perez second, Hamilton in third. It's 12th place for us, and I'm still sort of reeling from how embarrassing that was to come towards the line in such condition on the race car. That was very, very unenjoyable at the end of the Grand Prix. It could have been P4 for us had that not gone wrong. That's my mistake. I didn't look at the fuel at all during that race. As a result, it's cost us. So I have to have a look then in terms of what damage has been caused to our championship chances following a very entertaining Grand Prix here at Imola.
So let's review the drivers' standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Let's give it to Esteban Ocon. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
Let's move on to the constructors. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Let's have a look then at the rest of the results after that was a fascinating Grand Prix. So in the end, Verstappen finishes in 4th, Sainz in 5th, Norris 6th, Ricciardo 7th, Alonso 8th, Ocon 9th, and Gasly rounds out the top 10. And of course, we saw the majority of those cars pass us in the late stages, unfortunately. But, you know, that is what happens sometimes in Formula 1. You make these mistakes and you learn from them. So going into the next Grand Prix, we'll definitely keep that in mind. Keep an eye on fuel in the future going into the next few races. So in terms of standings then, is still Verstappen in the lead of the way right now. 5 points in front of Sainz and 5 in front of Perez too. Leclerc's 12 back. We sit 17 behind now. So we're still in touching distance. Not all is lost like it was when we retired from Portugal last season, as an example. We're still in front of Lewis, crucially, so we're still up on him right now. He's 34 points back. Red Bull increased their lead, or actually rather, it shuts down to Ferrari, but increases to us. We're now 46 back. So a lot of work to be done then for us at Mercedes. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of the F1 Ultimate Career Series. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe as always. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.